Hello, cats and kittens. Orewa Jose, Yoroshku. I'm back in the crisis corner. The frogs are still chirping in my backyard, croaking, chirping, whatever you want to call it. I will endure. Anyway, the death of the DCEU. That's what we're talking about tonight. At Comic Con, they announced that the DC Cinematic, DC Extended Universe is no more. Instead, they're rebranding as DC Worlds or Worlds of DC. Ultimately, it's a cinematic multiverse. The main difference being that rather than all the books, not books, all of the movies existing in one you joined universe, there'll be multiple stories being told in their own settings with the possibility of them being combined at some other point. They have that flexibility. They have the ability of just creating stories. They can get different directors to work on unique projects, be they R-rated, PG-13, or whatever. Just they can work to the strength of their directors, work to the strength of their storytellers, and just tell stories and join them together as they see fit. Bravo. My entire thing is that that's what they should have done from the get-go. That was the move that they should have made. When DC initially started trying to build their cinematic universe, I keep calling it that, their extended universe or whatever you want to call it, that move was reactionary. They looked over there, they saw Avengers, they saw all of the money that could have been gained or they could gain from basically copycatting Marvel, which was a risky move in the first place. When Iron Man came out and we saw those end credits and we seen that they were going for an extended universe or a joined universe, that was a very risky move. Nobody knew that it was going to work. Let's not mistake that fact. It was a risk, and it was a big risk at that. But DC, no, Marvel had a plan. They had a well thought out, well conceived plan. They knew what they were doing. The instant that they went into making their cinematic universe, it wasn't just a knee jerk reaction. It was something that they no doubt planned years and years well, at least a few years ahead. They knew that they were going to be making Guardians of the Galaxy, and they spelled it out. They had phases. And if you create movies in phases, surely you know what you're doing. DC, on the other hand, they were reactionary, premature, and ill-conceived. They were basically outdone by a company that didn't even have its two biggest guns. When Marvel started its studio, they didn't have Spider-Man, they didn't have the X-Men. Their two most recognizable brands. They made do with what they had, and it wasn't even a competition, first of all. DC made it a arms race, basically, by jumping into the ring and saying, oh, we're going to create, we have all these books lined up and we're going to do this, that, and the other. They could have just sat back, worked on the individual properties, basically what they're doing right now, and not made an issue of it. Just take a different approach. In doing what they did, they look like Johnny come latelys, and they basically put themselves in a position where they set themselves up to fail, in my estimation. Marvel, the beauty of what they did is they created essentially a fast food chain approach to making their movies. They It's not to say that they didn't tamper with their directors. They did. I mean, ask Edgar Wright. They tampered with them, but they tampered with them and made it work. They got the result out of their directors and their creators that they wanted. All of Marvel movies are not great. Some of them are okay. A lot of them are very good, and some of them are excellent. but they all fit the same mold. DC, on the other hand, you have somebody like Scott Snyder who's not trying to make Marvel movies, but they tried to make him do it. You can't force people to do things that they're not necessarily good at or that they don't want to do. So they tried to make Scott Snyder, Josh Whedon, and actually even hired Josh Whedon to tamper with a Scott Snyder film, and they got what they deserved, which was Justice League. Personally, I got mixed emotions with Justice League because I kind of enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy Batman Superman at all. That was tampered with. Shouldn't have been made, but they should have did World's Finest. But that's just my opinion. Yeah. I mean, they tried to take the Marvel approach because Marvel, in my opinion, they tried to make their movies like Marvel because Marvel was making money. Okay, their icons don't work like Marvel's characters. Uh, they should have just worked on them individually, the properties individually, and then join them up on the back end. You can go ahead and make a Justice League movie, 4, 5, or 6 movies in, fine, not a problem. Now, I mean, the approach that they're taking now, I think, is acceptable, and I applaud them for just basically biting the bullet. Stop throwing money at that DCEU. It's a money pit at this point. It's just gonna drag you down. Give up on it. As such, I wouldn't even pursue the Justice League thing. Let it die. But they can do what they want. I don't care. I mean, I do care because I gotta watch this stuff. Anyway, but again, applaud DC for taking the right approach, even if they did it years late, a few years late. And I look forward to their product. You know, I want to see another Superman movie. Batman, they can let that rest for a little while. I want to see a Flash. I want to see a Green Lantern. They say they got they got Michael Bay working on Lobo Pass. Anyway, but I look forward to it, and props to the DC or Warner Brothers for doing the right thing. Okay, that's it from the Crisis Corner. Just wanted to say rest in peace, DCEU. Long live DC Comics. That's it from the Crisis Corner. Goki Genyo.